relationships in the process. So we've got a very special celebrity guest today. We have Mr. Kevin T. Robertson. Thank you for joining us, sir. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Eva. Nice to be here with you. Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
So I'm going to read a little bit of your bio so people can have just a smattering of how amazing you are. So Kevin T. Robertson is the CEO of SpeakerFocus.com, consummate professional speaker and nationally recognized leadership expert. Affectionately known as KTR, he has earned his place as one of the most vibrant show-stopping performers at conferences worldwide, delivering concentrated based strategies that have an immediate impact. Now, Kevin is the author of 4 books on organization and leadership development, including The Clarity of Focus, Focus Based Leadership, Focus Based Organization, and Focus Facts for the college student. He works daily researching and studying cutting edge strategies to help clients succeed. Since 1988, Kevin has delivered over 2,000 programs, worked with Fortune 500 clients, and he's helped thousands of conference attendees achieve maximum levels of focus. My favorite word, focus. It's one of the first sessions I take my clients through in high performance is focus and then clarity. So you are a man after my own heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. So tell us more about yourself because it sounds like reading a book, all of your accomplishments, but really, what inspired you to be doing what you're doing? Share a little bit of that backstory with us.
Well, I'm just a curly haired little kid from Capitol Heights, Maryland. Grew up in a underprivileged neighborhood. I grew up in the hood, and like a lot of people that were a product of their environment from the '60s and the '70s. There was a lot of love in my household, but we grew up, rough. Until my parents figured it out in the early '80s, and they came from a background where you could not go to college, and you could just work a job, and you
Mhm.
could be in a household together, and you could still have 2 cars when you can have a nice house in a neighborhood where things weren't real crazy. So before we got a chance to move to the suburbs, we started out very humble beginnings. I saw a lot of things in my household that weren't there because my parents just flat out couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
So I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug very early on in my career, and it just really came out of what my parents couldn't afford. And when I was younger, I don't know, I had this perception, or I had this wherewithal. I was very aware of what was going on around me, and I didn't knock my parents for it. Like, oh, you can't buy me these Nike shoes, or you can't buy me this or that. What I did was I said, okay, well, maybe my parents need some help. Maybe I'm on my own, and they raised us where we should be independent thinkers. We could be able to make it on our own. And that's exactly the role that I took. Now, very early on in my career, I noticed that I was extremely gifted when it came to arts and music and things of that nature. So ever since I can remember, my paper was the example to follow in literary class, or it was the example to follow when it came to writing or building a story. Hey, this is the way your paper is supposed to look right here. So of course I was a teacher's pet in English and things of that nature because I was naturally a gifted writer. So then I was uh, I was very talented when it came to music and arts and painting and fine art. So I got 2 scholarships before I even graduated high school to college. I didn't take them up on it because I was a professional musician by the time I was 16. Once that happened, and I dabbled in some sports and cross country, I was really good at that. Played basketball really early on, but I couldn't really dunk, and because I wasn't super tall. So when I ran cross country, I made the team the first year, and I went to the state championship. They only send 7 people out of your team that gets a chance to go, and I was in the best 250 something runners in the state of Maryland in 1985, I believe it was. So, but once I got hurt, and then when the little girl started screaming my name when our band played live before school started, and you couldn't tell me anything after that, I said, "This is what I know I need to be doing. I want to do something pertaining to entertainment, and I just knew that I always had the gift of gab is what they call it. I could always, talk to people. And at school, I used to get a note sent home all the time. Kevin is a great student, but he talks
But he
too
talks too much.
but he talks too much in class. I mean, that was a constant every single year because I was always found myself wanting to network,
Mm,
play, find out about other people. And I was really open to a lot of different things as I was growing up younger. And I just love people. I didn't care what color you were. I didn't care what I didn't care what you were. I just wanted to be friends. And I
mm,
learned that at a very young age, I was a very sensitive little boy, but I learned that not everybody wants to be friends back to you. So then I found comfort in my talent. I
mhm,
always found comfort in being able to speak. Now I didn't know this like I know it now, but when you have the gift of speaking and communication, you could literally talk to anybody in any room, but you got to speak within yourself. So there was a mysticism when it came to being able to lift people with your words.
yeah,
There was a kind of, I fell in love with it,
mhm,
and it wound up being, my go-to thing. I could always go into a room and I could hold my own. And then I just kept dabbling in entrepreneurism. I was a successful real estate investor. As I was a younger, I flipped hundreds of houses, made a lot of money for me and my investors. And I
mhm.
always was speaking part-time. Like right out of high school, I got my first paid speaking engagement at 18. So I wasn't doing it full time yet because I didn't know what I was doing, but
Mhm.
I knew that I had to do it. It was that thing inside of me that kept saying, "Hey, listen, when I talk, people would listen." Remember how like the old EF Hutton commercial? When I,
Yeah, that's when
when I
EF.
talk, people
Kevin,
would
we're
listen.
dating each other. You thought about 1985. I'm like, first marriage, 1985. I'm like, you go way back, way back.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. I love it. So,
So
what brought you to really helping others with their speaking career? Because I know that you do a lot. So we've got to pick something to focus on. Like, what problem do people come to you with that you are helping them achieve?
it's a problem that I identified in people when I was at a very, very young age. People sometimes have a difficult time communicating. They have an idea in their head about what they want to say, but they don't know how to communicate it. Now, the cognitive brain function to connect that with the words that you want to say, it's easier said than done. A lot of times people put the cart before the horse. So
Mhm,
what I identified with as I started to become bigger in the speaking arena, when I first started, I was strictly a motivational, inspirational speaker. I had not yet grown to the level of maturity where I had real facilitation skills, knew how to transfer knowledge at an extremely high level, or I did not know how to teach. I had the part right that made you feel good. So, anyway, as I was touring for years and years and years, the number one question that would come up is, Kevin, what is the fastest way to start booking speaking engagements? I
mm,
want to be a motivational speaker. I want to get in the game. They wouldn't ask me what are the steps. They would ask me what the fastest way was. So I said, I find that strange. Don't they understand how much hard work? Well, maybe they don't understand what kind of hard work goes on behind the scenes. I make it look easy, but it's not. So what I learned over a number of years, when you start getting older, you have a responsibility. Everybody talks about giving back, but my thing is, I struggled in broke, begging, and desperation mode for the first 7 years of my career. When it was my time to give back, now what I realize is that people do not understand about the business of professional speaking. They just want to speak, but they don't understand that this is called the speaking business. There's a whole lot of business that have to get taken care of before you get the reward is the speaking part. So I
mm,
got tired of seeing people fall like I did so fast. And 80% of the market and the YouTubers are out here just trying to out motivate each other, and they're just making a bunch of noise. It's the professional speakers who earn the lion's share of the revenue. It's the specialists, Eva, the
mm,
subject matter experts, the leading authorities, and trusted advisors. So I help service providers
mhm,
learn the business of professional speaking step by step by step. In short, I help them organize their messaging, get the proper sales tools, get on the radar of the right kind of conference coordinators, help them with the automation so they have a predictable and consistent way to earn revenue. And that is attracting these qualified conference coordinators into their marketing pipeline. And we have templates to be able to help them do everything. So it's a plug and play system that's proven. We've been very fortunate to spend over $30+ million in paid advertising. 50% of our platform is 40 years and over, so they really struggle with technology. So we have
Mhm.
mastered Facebook ads, Instagram ads,
Mhm.
Google AdWords, YouTube pre-roll ads, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram. This is all underpriced attention. And
Yeah.
this is where the game is being played, and people of color are way behind. When
Mm.
I go to these tech conferences with my business partner, I'm one of few people of color that are there. And it always plays on my mind, like, how come we're not interested in this? So I'm on a mission, Eva, to get people up to speed when it comes to the technology. And that's why we created Speaker Focus.
Wow, wow. You're really speaking to what the desire is in my heart. I had shared with you offline, like the amazing people that I get to interview. Like I want to hire everyone, but you're right. You don't see a lot of people of color on stages and being hired. And so we need the training, we need the skill set, we need the coaching, the guidance, the
Yes.
mentoring,
Mhm.
and everybody could benefit from this. And especially now, our platform is so much wider because of all of the virtual opportunities that are
Yes.
out there. Now, have you had to pivot or shift the way you deliver your support to your clients because of the virtual situation that is now expanding since COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've all had to do it, but we started working on this years ago. You know,
Mm,
my business partner and co-founder, CTO, is Auston Troyer. So, you know, Austin is the one with the digital marketing experience. He started his first tech company when he was 12 years old. He's only 25 now. So he's very gifted. Yeah, he's only gifted. He's very gifted in that
mm,
manner of digital marketing and understanding. So we saw this years ago that we didn't obviously see the pandemic, but what we did see was that
yep.
we had to pivot, and we had to successfully make sure that our students knew what they were doing.
Mhm,
So the support, we have 24-hour technical and soft skill support,
mhm,
which is unprecedented in our industry. We give you detailed audio, video, voice, text, or email feedback,
mhm,
and we have a system of accountability set up. So we saw the support happening a long time ago, but the reason why we've been teaching our students how to pivot prior to March of last year, when the pandemic and everything was going to hell, and the reason why we did that was because we saw that the conference coordinators were not going to stop booking speakers. What
mhm,
they did was, and this is what the pandemic has done. This is the blessing and the silver lining with the
mhm,
pandemic, as millions of people are getting vaccinated every single day, and we're coming out of it. As you can see, they're starting to do live events. Live events are going up online right now, selling out in an hour. All right,
mhm,
that's to be expected. We've been trapped inside for a while. But what it did for the service provider, subject matter expert, leading authority, trusted advisor, or specialist, is created more opportunities for you to present your content. You got
mhm,
to look at yourself not as a business professional, but as a content producer. Look
mhm,
at yourself like a multimedia company.
mhm,
And now what you have the opportunity to do is present your content across multiple platforms. Now, the people who do this very successfully, and Eva, I want you to think about this for a second. Do you see the same ads being run all the time? Do you see Tony Robbins? You see Speaker
yeah.
Focus. You see Grant Cardone. You see Ty Lopez. You see Sam
Dean
Ovens. You see Alex
Graziosi, all of
Becker,
them.
Dean
Mhm,
Grazios. You see all of us. It's only a handful of people. Let's just say in our space right now, because when you run Facebook ads, it will show you like audiences.
mhm,
There's barely 100 people. It's less than that in our space for speaker coaching. I know every single person in the industry that runs an ad. I'm making my business to know.
mhm,
Now, you got to become a maverick or a pioneer when you see that the industry is suffering, struggling. The coaching industry as a whole, Eva, is full of a lot of what, but it's not full of a lot of how. So I saw that. And
mhm,
just like any other maverick, pioneer, trailblazer, I said, I'm sick of that. I said, I've taken enough coaching and training from downloading a $47 product online to taking a $30,000 boot camp for 5 days to learn more about marketing. I have 276 personal and professional development seminars that I've taken. So get in the shoes of the person who's taking your training. So I said, let's go back. Don't do it from the top. You got to do it from the bottom down. Go back to when you were broke. Go back to when you didn't know anything. And the level of respect that I have for people, we teach them how to pivot, but you have to be ready. Speaking is not your number one skill in this industry. Copywriting is. So the very
Yes.
first thing we cover is world-class copywriting skills, because if you can't get people interested in your messaging, the conference coordinator will never, ever hire you to speak.
Yeah, if your messaging is not clear and confusing, confused minds don't buy, and you don't get hired, and you don't get, like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to do? I feel like that was something I personally struggled with for a while. So I really appreciate people like you helping people like me get it together so that we can have a platform to share our messages. I want to pivot a little bit here
Mhm.
because what you're doing is amazing. But like you said, we don't see a lot of people of color doing this. What are some of the challenges or obstacles you faced in this industry and what you do as a person of color?
Well, I mean, we can start with the obvious one, which is going to be, I've never been ashamed being a person of color, of my Native American heritage or my African American heritage.
Hmm.
And it's something that I've always embraced. I've always had supreme confidence. Some kind of way, when life got me down, I always was able to rise above. But I have real conversations with my parents, because my parents, they were part of that generation that got the water hoses turned on them, got the dogs sick on them. My
Hmm.
mom and dad were they weren't community activists. That wasn't their role. But I tell you what they did tell me how rough things were going to be and what I need to be looking out for and how I need to watch out for myself as a person of color. But I never was bitter. My parents never turned me against all white people, this or this person of this race, or no, they didn't. We didn't teach hate in my house.
Right.
It was love, but you got to be smart.
Hmm.
Now, that being said, let me just break this down, because I have had my challenges being in the speaking industry. My hair is grown down to my shoulders. You can't tell right now in the profile, but it's kind of tucked in back there. So
You
I've
got
been
COVID
discriminated.
hair.
Yeah, I've had COVID hair for like 15 years.
This is COVID hair for me because I'm usually in a short pixie, but I'm like, all right, what the heck?
Yeah, it's just like, so what I've done, I've been a disruptor right from the beginning.
Hmm.
I've worn, suits that have been flashy,
Hmm.
instead of just a conservative blue suit. Instead of wearing a white shirt, I like wearing colored shirts, jazzy ties. It just
Hmm.
matches my image. I'm an entertainer first, and then I'm a speaker second. So I've gotten discriminated against because of my hair. I had a guy told me one time he wouldn't hire me because of my hair. Now I've delivered over 2,700 paid speaking engagements. So whether or not you want to hire me or not, when you get good at marketing, it doesn't matter who says yes or who says no. There's going to be enough people that you're going to attract with your brand. When they say stay true to yourself,
Hmm.
I've followed that model. No matter what people said about me because of my color, I've come around the corner before I've heard people talking about me, whether or not it's been white and black. Sometimes your own people will talk about you. So this is my motto of being a person of color in business. Never let a person's opinion about you define your level of self-esteem. And for
Hmm.
some reason, Eva, I never let it bother me to the point where it was going to stop me from accomplishing my goals. I am a big First Amendment person. I believe in freedom of speech. I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and when I want to do it. Who's going to tell me that I can't?
Well, I think that's the beauty of our community in general, is the level of emotional and mental and physical resilience and endurance. Because, like Maya Angelou so famously says, still we rise, And I was talking to somebody recently, those challenges were fuel. I use challenges as fuel. The more someone tells me I can't, or I'm not accepted, or I shouldn't, or try to tell me what I should be doing,
Yeah.
the more I am determined to keep going and be better. But, the general theme is we've all had to be better. We've all had to be better. We've had to work harder. We've had to stand out, stand up, and rise above. And
Absolutely.
I don't find a lot of bitterness in our community because of it, which is one of the reasons why I think stories that we have tucked away inside of us get to be shared so that people can know exactly what we've had to overcome, what we've had to endure. And it's not, our generation did not get fire hosed, for sure. But
Right.
the slights, the subconscious, the microaggressions, the biases, whether they're
Right.
overt or covert, we felt them all. We felt the sting of them, and we've swallowed a lot
Mhm.
as a people to
Right.
keep going, to
Right.
keep going. And that's why I always ask someone to share an experience, share a story, because I think it really helps to bring us together. Because, I always get shocked that people are shocked. I mean, I spent 38 years as a dental hygienist. I became a dental hygienist in 1980, and I had people refuse to have my black hands in their white mouths.
Mm.
I've had people automatically assume that it was my husband. I'm a real estate investor too, that it was my husband's business. I'm like, no, I invested in my
Yeah.
education, coaches, and mentors, and I built this
Exactly.
business.
Hmm.
He's my partner because we're married,
Hmm.
and the things that people just automatically, um, the preconceived notions based on the color can be frustrating. But we as a people have been taught generational resilience to keep going anyway. That doesn't stop us. There's no bitterness in our home, in any of our homes that I've witnessed. I've never really witnessed a home that was just bitter about
Hmm.
being black. This is just what we do.
Because you're going to run into it. You're going to run into it. It's no question about it. Can I share a quick story?
Of course. Of course. Can you hear me?
Eva, I think the screen froze. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Let me see if it's my. He's frozen. This is what happens. Let me pause the recording till we get back. Okay, and we are
Okay.
back.
I was going to ask you, can I share a quick story?
Yes, please go right ahead.
Okay. So I can recall one time I was in the Pennsylvania area. Now, I love Pennsylvania. It's a lot of great shopping there. They have a lot of great outlets and the Amish cooking and all that kind of stuff. I just love it. So I was in the Pennsylvania area. I was doing a public seminar, and I probably had maybe 150 people. I was teaching customer service that day. And I can recall three young white males in the back to the left of the room. So when I was doing that customer service presentation, I would go around and connect with people. I would shake their hand and get their name. Now they call me America's leading focus expert. I have a memory like an elephant. So I don't use name badges when I do my seminars. I can remember everybody's name in the room. I could close my eyes and tell you what you have on from head to toe and give you and remember your name. So as I was shaking hands and everybody's feeling all good, I walked through and those gentlemen had their hands under the desk and they wouldn't shake my hand. And I just welcomed them. I shook my head like that. I said, gentlemen, enjoy the seminar. They were the last three. I walked back up. After the first break, they never came back to the seminar.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept working. So one of the ladies raised their hand. She says, Kevin, you're not going to address what everybody saw what happened. You're not going to address what happened. I said, let me tell you something. I have a smile on my face. I have a song in my heart, and I'm going to share it with the world. And everybody erupts in applause because I'm just not going to let it affect me like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all have to deal with things as a person of color. It's their perception and their ignorance. But again, it doesn't define me. It's not going to stop me from moving the way I have to move. In life, you have yeses and nos. I'm looking to get to the yes or no as quickly as possible. If it's a no for me and it's not a good match, just hit next and move on.
Yeah. Thank
Don't get
you.
don't get all caught up in why this is not happening. Like I've never been, oh, the man is holding me back, or the system. What system and what man?
Mhm.
I'm hooked up to a nonstop universal power source. And when you understand that, then you understand that you're going to keep going and going and going. And when you have a dream and you got a vision, you've got to be an active participant in your dream and attack your goals with force. If you're not attacking, you're getting attacked. And this is a
Exactly.
mindset, Eva.
Yeah.
This is a mindset that we have in our business community that, I appreciate platforms like this. I appreciate the fact that you reached out to me and you wanted to have me be a part of this experience, because we all need to support each other, and we all need to see we're successful.
Yes.
Bottom line, you're successful, I'm successful, and we're not the only ones being
Mhm.
successful. As you can see when we were talking off camera, I
Mhm.
love when I wake up every single day and I get a little bit of inspiration from everybody that I get a chance to talk to, because I see that these people do what they do at a very, very high level. And I know I'm not the only one. And if that doesn't keep you humble every single day, and if that doesn't give you some type of spark under your ass to keep moving forward, then you don't understand what's going on.
Well, speaking of successful, do you have a success story that you can share of one of your clients?
Well, we have many.
I'm sure you have many, but one that
One of
you're willing to share.
one of the main ones that's near and dear to my heart is Tina Marie Rodriguez. And
Mhm.
Tina struggled with the litany of challenges, medical challenges, personal setbacks, and tragedies in her life. You would think that she would have given up a long time ago. This woman has done, coaching from her hospital bed before. And this was back when we used to do one-on-one coaching, but she
Mhm.
never gave up on her dream. And one thing about it, no matter where she was in her life, and she's definitely in a different space right now. She's thriving with a growing speaker business. And she's a high fee speaker, and she's doing her thing, and she's reporting back to us all of her successes. She's so
Yes,
excited.
I've been to her website. She's very sparkly, beautiful.
Let me tell you something. She's the human connections magnet. But
Mhm.
the reason why I brought up her is because I can remember when she was broken, but she didn't let life break her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And in her level of belief, see, belief is something you can't taste it, you can't smell it, you can't hear it, you can't see it, but you can feel it.
Mhm.
And Tina always had belief in herself. She had belief in herself. She had belief in us. And that single thing is the reason why I brought her name up, is because she's pretty amazing. When you see her interact with people, she brings something special out of people that they don't even know that they have in themselves. And that's a gift that she has. And
Yes.
I was very thrilled to be able to work with her and help her nurture her gift. That's the reward for me as a top speaker coach in this business, is that when
Mhm.
you get a chance to see somebody that has a dream and they believe, that's all it takes.
Mhm.
And her work ethic is unmatched.
Yeah. And they have to
Period.
follow the coaching too. That's a part
And
of it.
she's
I had that
extremely
experience.
coachable. She
Yeah,
followed the system.
very follow the system. I mean, I have
Yes.
clients like that. You have those clients where you just looking forward to. I do mostly one-on-one coaching that you just can't wait to get on the next session with them, because you know that they're going to have ahas, they're going to have awarenesses, they're going to have awakenings, and they're going to take it and run. I just
Yep.
recently had that with a client who just like manifest. She never thought she could make the amount of money she's making now, and she's just like, she can't. It's so unbelievable what she's doing now by following the coaching that it's scaring her, for lack of a better word, because it takes that amount of trust, and it takes a coach
Yes.
like yourself, like me, to have that trust, that they could trust, and that we're honest and we're in integrity,
Yes.
and we are committed to our client success and
They have
growth.
to believe in the system, Eva. They
And
have to
and
believe.
we're just, it's just service. It really is being at a
That's
higher
it.
level of service.
I
So
call
I
it a discipline of service.
excuse me.
I say I call it a discipline of service.
A
That's what.
discipline of service.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Now I know you have a free gift or something that you'd like to offer the people who are watching our interview right now. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, if you are a specialist, a subject matter expert, leading authority, trusted advisor, a service provider, and you are looking to get involved in high fee professional speaking, then you can always go to www.speakerfocus.com. You can opt in with your email address, and there is a free training for 30 minutes. You will hear my story of how I came up from a very, very low fee speaker to earning over 50K USD just for 1 hour of my time. And it's a lot of great information in there and insights that you're not going to find if you do a Google search online. So take the free workshop training.
Mhm.
And if you want to schedule a call with me, you get a free half an hour session with me to assess your speaking goals so I can help you get to another level with no obligation.
Yay! I'm definitely taking advantage of it. And guys, don't worry, you don't have to memorize this. The link is really underneath this video. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your time, your energy, your service to creating opportunities for people with gifts to have their gifts spotlighted and shown and compensated for, which is key. We should all, I love Rachel Rogers, like we should all be millionaires,
Mhm.
definitely, because we can't really be in as great a service if we're not making money, for sure. So
Absolutely.
thank you for who you are and what you do. And thank you all for watching and sticking with us through our little technical glitch. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Eva, thank you. You are an empowered woman of focus. I love you and I appreciate you.
Thank you.